Guys, crypto is facing some big headwinds right now, with the SEC filing lawsuits with major cryptocurrency exchanges like Coinbase and Binance, and officially labeling over 50 different cryptocurrencies as securities. The markets have definitely taken a tumble over the last week or so. And ever since this happened, I see a ton of fear going around online, and lots of different people have asked me directly, what's going to happen to this industry? Is this a big deal for crypto? And if I'm trying to actually get into the industry, let's say become a blockchain developer, should I be worried? Well, because I've been getting this question so much recently, I wanted to take the time to make a dedicated video to explain everything that you need to understand about this and my perspective as a blockchain developer myself, of course, who works with this technology on a daily basis, has been in this space since 2017, has seen a lot of stuff go down. So if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to become a blockchain master step-by-step start to finish, break into the blockchain industry, increase your salary well past 100K, I can try to do that over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. All right, so let's get into this. Let's talk about the big issue on the table right now, which is the SEC cracking down on Coinbase and Binance, issuing these big lawsuits and labeling over 50 different cryptocurrencies as securities. Now, I really wanted to make this video sooner rather than today. I realize I'm totally late to the party on this one, but if you check out my recent YouTube videos, you'll see that I have been moving YouTube studios. You'll see the background's a little bit different if you've been watching my channel for a while. I've been in a complete overhaul and a migration, and in that recent video, I talked about how my video frequency would be a little less for now. But I did want to jump on the horn and make this video because I know a lot of people are concerned about this, and I want to weigh in on exactly what's happening. All right, so before I give you my opinion on the matter, let's start off with the facts. Let's state exactly what has happened. So the SEC, or the Securities and Exchanges Commission, basically the governing body in the United States who's responsible for regulating things like stocks and stock trading, has officially issued lawsuits against two major cryptocurrency exchanges, Coinbase, primarily inside the United States, and Binance, which operates internationally, as well as having its US division. And these are independent lawsuits, which I'll get into the details here in a minute. But inside these lawsuits, they also named different cryptocurrencies, which the SEC has clearly defined as securities, because they have to say, hey, here's the evidence of the securities you've traded on your platform that are unregistered. And if you piece together these pieces of information, we have a new list that basically, clarifies what the SEC determines as a security in terms of these specific cryptos. So again, these are two different lawsuits, and I'm actually going to look at the official news posted on the SEC.gov website. So this is not taking stuff from cryptocurrency blog or news website. This is straight on the SEC's website of what they said. So basically, SEC charges Coinbase for operating as an unregistered securities exchange, broker, and clearing agency. And this charge comes with saying that Coinbase essentially operated the crypto asset trading platform as an unregistered national securities exchange, broker, and clearing agency, and that they failed to register and offer the sale of its crypto as an asset staking as a service program. So what does that really mean? Well, Coinbase has two different sides of its business that SEC has a problem with. Number one is letting people buy and sell cryptocurrency on their platform. So let's say you get on there and you buy Dogecoin, for example, and you sell it on Coinbase, okay? So depending on how the SEC treats Dogecoin's asset itself, I'm not going to weigh on that specifically. I'm just using it as an example. Let's say they say Dogecoin is a security. Well, guess what? You failed to register with us in this case, and now you're in hot water. So that's one side of the business, trading cryptos, trading securities, not being registered for that classification. Now, the other side of things is the staking side of things. So basically, let's say you have Ethereum cryptocurrency, which now, you can earn passive income on by staking it because Ethereum switched to proof of stake. Now, you can do that a couple ways. You could go stake your Ether natively on the network if you ran a node, or you could do the easy button and just buy it on Coinbase and click that little stake button, and Coinbase go stake it for you and then pay you out sort of the dividend or the yield, in this case, the staking yields. And that's the other side of the equation that the SEC has a problem with. Okay, so that's what's going on with Coinbase. Now let's talk about Binance. So again, we're going to go straight to the SEC.gov website here. We're not going to look at some random cryptocurrency news website. So basically, it's a lot of the same type of stuff, but really bigger with Binance, okay? So basically, the SEC today has charged Binance Holdings, which operates the largest crypto asset trading platform in the world, Binance.com, US-based affiliate, Binance.us, BAM Trading Services. Okay, so they're, starting off with the same types of things that they're throwing at Coinbase, like, hey, this is an unregistered securities platform. You're trading all these cryptos that we deem as securities. You're in hot water for that. But there's all of this extra stuff layered on top of it against Binance itself, but also the founder CZ himself. So it's way bigger than the Coinbase stuff. So the additional things are basically charging Binance with the release of their own crypto asset, the BNB token, which Coinbase never did. Also, the Binance stablecoin, BUSD. So 2 new cryptos that are not sitting favorably with the SEC. And then also targeting CZ himself, basically saying he's a control person for Binance. And then saying that basically CZ and Binance control the platform, customer assets, permitting them to commingle with customer assets or divert customer assets as they please. So there's a lot of murky waters there. And then finally, the big one for US-based customers is they allege that, CZ and Binance publicly claimed that US customers were restricted from transacting on Binance.com. Basically, Binance was like, hey, we're not going to let US people trade on our platform because we're compliant. But that reality has subverted their own controls to secretly allow high-value US customers to continue trading on the Binance platform so that they could get a cut of the trading fees. My notes added there at the end. All right, so that's an overview of the charge against Binance. So we got lawsuits against Coinbase, we got lawsuits against Binance, which is a lot bigger than the Coinbase stuff. But now the other side of this is the SEC has listed, several different cryptocurrencies, which has now deemed as securities officially. Okay, so why is this a big deal? Because we've been in the dark for lots of time about, hey, which cryptos are securities, which are not, okay? And then if you look at the lawsuits in both these cases, they list a bunch of different cryptocurrencies as evidence. And if you piece all these together, it's over 50. And in fact, this Cointelegraph article is saying that it's 68 cryptocurrencies are now seen as securities by the SEC, okay? You can just check out this article if you want to for the full list, or you can deep dive into the SEC filings. And if you look at this list, if you've been around the space for a while, this sort of looks like a 2017 era ICO list. Okay, so this is a kind of old, crusty list. You're not going to see things like Pepe Coin or Shiba Inu on here. Basically, things like XRP, Telegram's Ton token, library credits, Omize Go, Dash, Algorand. A lot of stuff that people have not really been talking about that much for a really long time. All right, so that's an overview of the facts on the table with a little bit of my opinion sprinkled in here and there. But now let's get officially to the my opinion side of the deal here. So again, nothing I'm saying in this video is not be financial advice. I'm telling you to buy or sell any cryptocurrency based on this information. But, big picture, I think people are really overreacting to this. And I'm going to justify that with several different, things here through the rest of this video. So number one is who didn't see this coming? Okay, if you've been in this space for a really long time, you've probably understood there's lots of things that are, clearly unregistered securities that are floating around. They're probably going to have some significant crackdown. And if you didn't realize that, then definitely I hope that you'll watch my channel in the future because I've talked about this many times. So if you haven't followed along with me, this shouldn't really come as too much of a surprise to you. Now, I know when this happens, people get really spooked. They kind of get this herd mentality. Everybody panic sells or wants to flee the space because the fear just sinks in. But in general, I think that people are overreacting. Now, let me give you some more reasons as to why. First of all, let's answer the big question, what does this mean for the crypto industry? Is it actually a big deal? Then I'll talk about hey, what if you're a blockchain developer trying to work in the industry? What does it mean for you? Well, let's start off with the big state of the industry. So, in the grand scheme of things, I really don't think this is a big deal. Ultimately, in order, I think, for cryptocurrency to thrive in the future, we need some type of regulatory clarity. And this is probably a step in the right direction. If we see crackdowns and we see enforcement on the table, it's going to be a pretty good indication of what you can and can't do in this space. And when you don't have that type of thing, you have people try to outrun regulations and make as much money as they can to fight the problem in hindsight. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. And the world's 2 largest cryptocurrency exchanges definitely are well capitalized to fight this. Okay, so now another point I want to make in terms of the overall state of the industry is, every time something like this happens, okay, everybody just says, it's over. There's no more opportunity for crypto. All this doubt starts to seep in. But I'm going to give you a little hint. This is not the first time something like this has happened, okay? And this is not my first rodeo. I've been in this space, again, like I was saying, since 2017, and really been watching it even sooner than that. So I've seen lots of this type of stuff happen. None of it has ever halted the industry. And if you've been in this space for even a year, okay, you've seen things like FTX blow up. You've seen things like the Terra Luna stablecoin disaster. Maybe you even saw something like the Tornado Cash sanctions. When this stuff comes in, people start to think, oh, it's over. But crypto just presses on, finds a way to adapt, and continues to move forward. And that's a really important part I want to make here, is that crypto is a Pandora's box situation. Pandora has been let out of the box and there's no stuffing it back inside, okay? It is a massive life force that has taken on a mind of its own, and it will adapt and to change into whatever headwinds are thrown at. And this is just one thing it's going to have to adapt to keep moving forward. But my big bet is that it will continue to do so despite what we're seeing right now. Because if it wasn't and everybody was in agreement, you wouldn't have the massive opportunity on the table that we do have right now. And I know there's going to be lots of objections that immediately say, well, but this time is different, okay? If you saw things like FTX, or even going way back to Mt. Gox blowing up, those are like small isolated incidences. This is a widespread systemic crackdown from a governing body, which we really haven't seen to date. To which I'll say, yeah, totally understand. Is that a great thing for crypto in the short term? No, it's not. But I still don't think it's a death nail because, again, who didn't see this coming? And it's not necessarily going to be a widespread, impact on all cryptocurrencies themselves. They're not all created equally, okay? Bitcoin is most likely not subject to anything that we're talking about here. Ether also probably not subject to anything we're talking here. Again, no legal expert, but go check out the video I did a couple months ago talking about how Ether is most likely past its statute of limitations to see this type of crackdown. But that doesn't mean that things like, Pepe coin and all these other like really hot meme coins that come and go couldn't easily be deemed securities. But do you really think the future of crypto should be defined by those types of projects? No, I don't. But I think the future of crypto should be defined by really useful technology platforms like Ethereum, for example. And so if we cut down some of the trash and focus on what matters, that ultimately could be a good thing for the industry in my view. But I don't think we're going to see any type of widespread systemic crackdown stuff that actually provides value and actually matters. And that's why I don't think this time is different in terms of being a death nail for the entire industry. All right, so that's why I don't think it's that big of a deal over the long term for the state of the entire industry. But let's talk about you, the individual, okay? Again, I'm not trying to give you an investment advice about whether you should buy or sell cryptocurrency. Really what I focus on this channel is helping people acquire technical skills so they can break into the industry, specifically to become blockchain developers, because that's where I think the best life-changing opportunity is with crypto, okay? So do I still think that, like after all this stuff came out? So the answer is absolutely, okay? And it might even be a better time now than it was just a few months ago. So let me explain. Blockchain is all about supply and demand, all right? So basically, there has to be demand for the tech talent itself, and then the supply, people who actually can supply that talent matters as well. So, you could see some dip in demand based on this type of stuff in the short term. I've seen this type of thing happen over and over and over again. Again, I've been in this space since 2017. I've seen all these terrible blowups happen along the way. I was working the entire time throughout the 2018, 2019 bear market. There was tons of demand then, even when it looked like it was a wasteland. There's lots of demand for other people who I helped get jobs during that time. And this time is way better. But let's talk about why it's such a critical time right now. So there will be lots of people who get spooked during this opportunity, okay? But if you aren't spooked and you get in, just like I did in 2018, 2019, to really double on your skills, whenever that next wave happens, like we're talking a massive fireworks show in the crypto space, you're gonna be way ahead of all those people, okay? And that's what I did. And I'm really glad that I did, because my results were 10x is what they would have been if I was chasing the herd after that next wave happened. And so whenever you have a scare like this, if you do the exact opposite of what other people are doing, you're like, hey, everybody's crazy. Like there's still a ton of opportunity in this space, which there is. And you just keep going, you'll most likely be very glad that you did. And so like, if you've been going down this path and you're like, you got spooked, again, I'll say like, there's no reason that this would materially affect the demand for blockchain developers. Maybe it hurts it a little bit or something like that, but it's not like your opportunity is going to go away. So same thing if you are just thinking about it for the first time, or like I said, maybe you've been going this path. There's no time like the present to get started, because again, you're going to be ahead of that next wave like I was just talking about. And could some individual jobs go away? Yeah, they could, but that doesn't change the aggregate demand at different places that could hire you as a blockchain developer. And also don't forget that blockchain is more than just cryptocurrencies. Okay, we have NFTs and all the different use cases we could have for non-fungible tokens like intellectual property rights, real estate, ticketing, decentralized identity. There's so many things that we're just scratching the surface for that have nothing to do with cryptocurrencies themselves. And so even if the SEC wiped away the entire crypto and DeFi side of things, you've got, this other half of the entire equation that's still great use cases for blockchain that we're just in the infancy of really grasping. And you really can't make that part of it go away with the allegations that we're talking about here, okay? And I think we're just starting a massive tech trend that's going to really take off like crazy for the rest of this decade. And so the last thing you want to do is get scared when something like this happens and then jump off the ride. Because I think, At the beginning of the next decade, the world's going to look a lot different than it does now. When you're talking about all these converging trends like crypto, artificial intelligence, and then virtual reality or augmented reality. All those things coming together to create this really exciting technology that's going to completely transform how we interact with the world on a digital front. And this big issue with the SEC, with Coinbase and Binance is just a little blip on the radar on that much bigger journey. And the last thing you want to do is throw in the towel way too soon before the really exciting stuff starts to happen. All right, so that's an overview of what I think about the SEC's lawsuits against Coinbase, Binance, labeling all these other cryptocurrencies as securities, whether I think this is a big deal for the industry and whether you should worry about it or not, especially if you're trying to work in the industry, specifically as a blockchain developer. So I hope you like this video. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And if you've taken what I said to heart today and you're ready to double down on your skills to get ahead of that next crypto wave that's definitely coming, then I can help you break in the industry, increase your salary well past 100K over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You really don't have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. Until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.